Arizona. This is going to be one of those years where you have to be pushing to get some important senators through, because we want President Trump in the White House, but we have to give him the majority in the Senate. Can you imagine if he stuck with the Democrats and Chuck Schumer? Can you imagine? He'll never get his Supreme Court picks through. His cabinet picks won't go through. They'll probably do another witch hunt, hoax, BS impeachment trial. We gotta have the majority in the Senate. That's why I'm running. It was a year ago I took the stage at CPAC and told you all about a very disturbing conversation I had had with somebody pretty high up in politics, where they tried to bribe me to stay out of politics. Did any of you hear that speech a year ago? Well, and you also, hopefully some of you heard the audio of that conversation. And I'm reminded as I'm here in DC, and I was in DC yesterday, I'm reminded that there's so much of that bribery and blackmail going on. We send people to DC and immediately they get taken in by the swamp. We gotta start sending people who say, F no, we're not gonna have a bribe, we're not gonna be blackmailed, we're gonna work for we the people. And you know you're gonna get that with me. We need more fighters. President Trump's amazing. You know, his first term, sometimes I felt like it was him alone on an island fighting for us. This go around, he's gonna have an army of fighters in Washington, D.C., working for our constituents back home and working to get President Trump's incredible agenda passed quickly. You know, I don't know if you heard the El Salvador president speak yesterday. That country used to be a nightmare. It was the murder capital of the world. You couldn't walk safely on the streets. In 3 short years, he's turned that country around. It's one of the most safe countries now. And sadly, we're less safe than El Salvador right now. Can you believe that? We are less safe in this country. We are on the verge of going down if we don't all stand up and fight back.
Neither safe nor secure. I think elections are probably a good example of that. What is your campaign? What are you guys doing to ensure that what happened last time, it's the number one question that I get from the War Room Posse on the election integrity front. What are you guys doing to make sure those left-wing, far-left progressive groups
particularly in Arizona?
Particularly in Arizona. We know they have their sights set on that state, but what are you guys doing to ensure that doesn't happen?
You know what's interesting? Some of the same NGOs who are part of the human smuggling operation, I recognize some of those same NGOs on those lists that are also the usual suspects when it comes to ballot harvesting. So a lot of money is going into them to do some very nefarious things. Our court case is still going. There are several other court cases that are moving through the system. We now have an AZ GOP chair, now that we got rid of the unethical one, who actually cares about election integrity. We are pushing lawsuits, many different people and entities, to stop illegals from being able to vote, to just make Maricopa County and Arizona follow the election laws. We're not asking for any benefit to us. We're asking for a level playing field. We're not asking for them to give extra, push for Republicans. We just want a level playing field. So we have many different cases that are moving through the system. I'm very excited about some of them. We've got to get them out of Maricopa County. Maricopa County is a pretty corrupt place.
What it says, we just started with President Trump at NRB defending Christians. You have it mainstream media, all of them, Kasich, the whole crowd, attacking, saying Christian nationalism, this is the new insurrection, this is the new domestic terrorist. What do you have to say to both support President Trump in his defense and also to go after the mainstream media that is trying to demonize Christians, trying to demonize that the religion that this nation was founded upon? We're part of the Judeo-Christian West, but this is a Christian nation.
Well, they know that we're in a battle of good versus evil, of God versus the devil, really. And they know that so many of us are returning to our faith. We are praying, we're down on our knees praying for God to help. And that scares the hell out of them, because I think there's a lot of demons operating right now. And you see it in the fake news. I say anybody the fake news, that's right. Anybody the fake news is demonizing, you should be supporting. Anything the fake news is celebrating, you need to look at it with scrutiny. That is how twisted the media is. And we're hearing a lot about layoffs at some of these corporate news operations. You know what?
It's huge. Vice News laid off everybody. They're shutting down all over.
Yeah.
All over.
Not Warner. I had to, I'm not losing sleep over that one, guys. I want our economy, I want everybody to be working, but when we're pushing propagandists onto the unemployment line, I'm okay with that because they are destroying this country. The enemy of the people is what President Trump called them. Think about that. He called them that back in 2016. And now we know he was right. He was right about everything. We've got to get that man back in the White House. I'm seeing crowds saying, how do you feel about getting President Trump back in the White House? Yeah, okay, I thought so. Are you going to go out and work this next 10 months? Work your butts off. Get involved in campaigns. Knock doors. Do everything you can. Is everybody up for that? Okay.
Yo.
And you're going to watch War Room so that you know you can talk to people about what's happening. This is the time where we have to start talking to our neighbors. Remember last election, they had everybody muzzled. We couldn't even talk to our neighbors and say, hey, something's going on here. This isn't right. We're not muzzled anymore. And we're not afraid to be name called. We're not afraid to be canceled. We're not afraid to ruffle feathers. This is the time to ruffle some feathers and speak out. The most powerful weapon we have is our voice. It's time to get out there and wake some people up.
Amen. Okay, we've got a big event in Mar-a-Lago, I think April 3rd. Walk people through your campaign. We've got about a minute. Where do they go? How do they support you? Particularly where you're going to be, because people love hearing your speaking engagements. And you're going to speak tomorrow. By the way, Kari Lake has the toughest job of all at CPAC. She's following President Trump tomorrow.
Actually, that's changed because President Trump's schedule changed. So now I'm ahead. I'm just before President Trump.
Oh, you're the opening act. The second hardest job in the world is opening for President Trump.
There's going to be a lot of great speakers tomorrow. I encourage you to get down into the conference center and watch them. I mean, we're going to have some great speakers tomorrow. We've got to support this man come hell or high water. This is our last chance to save this republic. If you want to find out more about my campaign, karilake.com, KARILAKE.com. We've got events on there. April 3rd, we're going to be at Mar-a-Lago for a great event. Just found out my friend Roseanne Barr is going to be there. We're going to have some other great stuff.
Roseanne Barr and Kari Lake.
And maybe we can twist this man's arm and get him to fancy Mar-a-Lago.
I'm a populist, but I love Mar-a-Lago. Last question, just ask Lee Stefanik before he lets you go. I know you're running for the Senate, but you are on the poll here for VP. If President Trump was to ask you about running as his running mate, what would be your response?
You know what, I really want to help my country in the best way possible. And right now I see that as running for the U.S. Senate. I really do. We need to have backup. We got to have some backup for President Trump. So President Trump's going to make that decision, and frankly, he could pick anybody in this crowd to be his VP, and we will be in good hands.
All right, let's give it up for Kari Lake.
Anyone in this crowd will be good with me. Thank you guys.
Short commercial break. Back in a moment. Let's give it up for Kari.